Hello and welcome everyone to the Week Ahead Commodity Report, where we of course will be reviewing the markets for the week ahead. It's official, inflation is surging at a record pace across the world. In the US, consumer prices, they're soaring at the fastest pace in 30 years. In China and Japan, producer prices have shattered forecasts, whilst in the UK, Canada and Europe, inflation is nearing 20-year highs. Literally every economy around the world, they're seeing the same trend. This means that the price of everything from food on your table to the gas in your car and your home heating bill has gone up significantly this year. It's looking increasingly likely that consumers, they will be feeling the effects of inflation for years to come. Behind the scenes, inflation has been at the core of one of the biggest debates all year, with traders questioning whether this spike in costs is transitory or one of the biggest policy mistakes in history. Data released last week showed that US inflation is now running at the highest in a generation, with consumer prices surging in October by a whopping 6.2% from a year ago. That's the biggest annual gain in 31 years. According to many economists, the actual global inflation figures, they are significantly higher than the actual figures being reported, and the real numbers could be much closer to double digits. Last week, President Joe Biden, he acknowledged that US consumers were paying too much for everyday goods, vowing to tackle inflation head-on with his forthcoming $1.7 trillion social spending bill, along with a $550 billion infrastructure spending plan. Republicans, they responded with a counter-argument, stating that cash drops by the government, these are just driving up prices even higher and they're fueling greater inflationary pressures. With global inflation surging at the fastest pace in 3 decades, it's no surprise that commodities, they have firmly positioned themselves as one of the best performing asset classes of 2021. So far this year, commodities, they've been on an unstoppable run, with everything from metals to energies to agriculture hitting new record highs as the super cycle gathers pace. There are plenty of reasons why commodities are on the move, from rapidly surging global inflation to tightening supply, logistical bottlenecks to booming demand across many highly essential commodities as the world economies recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. So far this year, a long list of commodities have already surged above all-time record highs. That includes aluminium, copper, cotton, coffee, crude oil, natural gas, nickel, lithium, steel, uranium, wheat and zinc, just to name a few, and in total 27 commodities ranging from the metals to the energies to the soft commodities, they have tallied up double to triple digit gains so far this year, and this is just the beginning. Extraordinary times, they do create extraordinary opportunities. Right now we are living in one of the most exciting and rewarding periods ever in history. Banks, hedge funds, they are making multi-billions capitalizing on the week-to-week volatility, and it's not so different for the retail market. The majority of our clients at the Gold and Silver Club, utilizing our proprietary research-driven trading approach, they have already made in excess of 6 and 7 figures so far this year, and we still have another 2 months left to go. So if you've been kicking yourself for missing out on some of the biggest trading opportunities so far this year, you still have time to make 2021 your best year yet. So with that, let's move over to the charts and we'll talk you through exactly what we're looking at here as we head into a new week. So firstly, moving over to palladium, which we of course have put on your radar several times on the week ahead commodity reports. We have positions on this market right now which are currently up over 3,000 points. In fact, we took the opportunity on Friday on the 2% breakout to the upside to lock in another 1,000 point gain there on palladium. So of course, for every 1 lot contract that you'll be trading, that's $10,000 of profit. For every 10 lot contract that you'll be trading, that's $100,000 of profit. So you can see palladium, 3.4% gain in the last week. It's gained over 6% so far this month. We've talked you through this multiple times to be looking at buying into dips. We've been building into a basing formation on palladium. Typically, it's a very strong performer over the month of November, very much like copper as well, which is now broken out to the upside. 1% gain on Friday. Overall for the month, it's up over 2%. We saw a nice dip on Thursday through to Friday, giving you another opportunity to add on that sell-off. So we've essentially done that. We've got 3 positions on copper right now. We've been able to build into this position on the recent sell-off, which puts our positions nicely in profit into Friday's close. Then moving over to platinum. Our position on platinum is now up over 1,400 points. In fact, we've moved the profit target again on this market as we continue to break out. Platinum is up almost 7% over the month of November. Again, this is a market that we put on your radar several times as we got that dip into the end of September, beginning of October, where we established our position at 947 US dollars per ounce. That, of course, has worked out very nicely indeed with the recent breakouts that we've seen again over the month of October through to November. Then, of course, moving over to gold. So as you mentioned to you last week, we locked in over 1,000 points on our long position on gold. You have to bear in mind that we were very early to this trade. We bought in at 1,727 US dollars per ounce on the end of quarter sell-off that we saw at the end of September. And then, of course, we had the slingshot move and breakout over the month of October. So typically, as we progress into the next couple of weeks of November, you're then going to start moving into Thanksgiving, end of month profit taking, also contract settlement as well, where normally you're going to see some consolidation on gold. We're taking the opportunity again on the breakouts that we saw last week to bank into strength and really lock in some solid gains here on gold. Very much like silver, we've seen a strong move over the last week, especially off the back of the CPI data, which also caused breakouts later on in the week on palladium, on copper, on platinum. So gold and silver, of course, were able to benefit off the back of that too. So you have silver right now trading at $25.30 per ounce. Again, it's up 6.4% over the month of November. It's up 5% in the last week. And also, even with the dollar breaking out to 16-month highs, this did have limited impact on the metals last week. We saw both of them rally together. So the dollar rallied, and we've also seen strong moves later on in the week, of course, for the metals as well, which sets up really nicely as we continue throughout next week, especially on markets such as palladium, copper, platinum, which typically tend to perform very well over this cycle anyway. And then what we'll look out for going into next week with gold is whether we can clear above this serious zone of resistance at the 1865 zone. So again, if you have a look at this zone, go back historically to what happened this time last year, you can see going into the month of November and also January how sticky this level has been historically around the 1868 up to the 1870 zone, where we have seen takedowns around this zone before. What, of course, we're very interested in at this level as we go into next week is whether we can get any more follow through and start to get a breakout up towards the 1875 1900 zone, or whether we're very simply going to come into resistance again here, start to pull back, especially as we get towards the end of November over the next couple of weeks, which would be quite usual to get profit taking at the end of the month as you get closer towards Thanksgiving and contract settlement, to then see some outflows, which of course can set up for some nice opportunities for you to look to buy into dips here as well. You do want to be careful FOMOing in at these prices given the time of month that we're in at right now as we transition into the third week of November. Again, we always like to be early into our trades. Our position from 1,727 US dollars per ounce on gold gave us a lot of profit when we started to scale out. Very similar with platinum as well, where we still have a position with over 1,400 points open on this market. Palladium, we've got over 3,000 points profit currently open on this market as well. And copper, of course, where we built into a number of trades at lower price as well, which are currently nicely into profit into the close as well. As you know, markets like copper, they don't just move up in a straight line. In fact, commodities, they zigzag, which does present you, savvy trader, with lots of back-to-back opportunities to really capitalize on this short-term macro-driven volatility. Technical analysis, as you know, does not work. We are in a highly data and event-driven trading landscape where the markets, they are changing minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. If you want to maximize your money-making potential and thrive, not just survive in these fast-moving markets, then you need to adapt your strategy to the current market conditions and, most importantly, utilize a professional, research-driven approach. In these times of heightened volatility and rapidly surging inflation, the importance of having an essential income-generating skill like trading has become a must-have necessity. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it's that you should never rely on just one income stream. Building multiple streams of income, it's no longer an option, it's a priority to make sure that you're inflation proof and that you can thrive in this highly lucrative climate not just survive. If you want to gain the ultimate edge to really supercharge your wealth in these fast-moving and highly profitable markets, then you need to trade like the hedge funds, the money managers, the institutions, utilizing a professional, research-driven approach. Having access to the right data at the right time, it is the single greatest difference between ordinary and extraordinary results. The greater your data and intelligence, the greater your edge in navigating these fast-moving markets. Trading like every other misguided retail trader out there, using outdated technical analysis and gimmicky technical indicators will not work, and you are guaranteed to get crushed and chopped up in these markets. You want to make sure that you're utilizing data, market intelligence, statistics, learn and understand the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly cycles for each commodity, understand capital flows, the most important news items that will create those impulse moves where you can benefit off huge moves extremely quickly. Alongside that, learn and understand key areas of liquidity, the intermarket correlations, the ratios in the market, sentiment, the macroeconomics, the geopolitics, which can affect each of the commodities that we're trading, and of course, utilizing data and intelligence and understanding and learning how the hedge funds, money managers, banks and institutions are positioned in the market. That will help you massively to get an edge. So with that, if you would like to join our community of successful traders, learn the professional research-driven approach to the market and join our professional mentorship program, there is an opportunity for you to do so. As a member, you get access to our exclusive live trading room webinars. You have access to our real-time trade ideas, access to institutional research and market intelligence, access to our private Members Academy website, and also support and one-to-one mentoring. For more information, just go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. The link is below this report in the description, so just click on the link, make an application, and we will of course get in touch with you ASAP. And do make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you're always kept updated with all of the latest commodity reports.